welcome to my channel. Last year we covered a lot of videos, and as a result we had around 400 subscribers, which I really appreciate your appreciation for my videos. And hopefully this year we'll do something more important with more quality videos if I have time and if I see some response from you from the subscribers that will be interested in these subjects. So today what we will discuss, I chose to use DeepinOS. DeepinOS is a very interesting distribution. It has the Deepin desktop. It is considering a new way out of the normal XFCE or KDE or GNOME desktop environment. Will it succeed? I don't know, but we will see how it goes. And the main thing that we will focus is the installation, because in the installation they need 64 gigabyte. We'll try to make it as small as possible. So if you have a simple or a small SSD, you can also try this distribution and enjoy it. So let us start.
Looking at the Deepin webpage, which is deepin.org, you can notice they have given us some information what to expect about Deepin and the reason why you need to change Deepin. One of the things that they are talking about is that it is out of the box. For sure, yes, it is easy to install. I have a small question mark also about the out of the box for the installation, because there is some limitation for the hard disk space, and we will talk about it. For the user friendly, of course, because it is a new desktop, they have their own self-developed DTK, which is the Deepin Toolkit. They have an IDE if you want to help with the improvement of Deepin, or you want to include some features in the panel, in the file manager, and all of these tweaks that they have. You can do it through this DTK, which is nice, but of course you need to have more developers in order to give this system a boost. For the privacy, since this distribution is from China, many don't want to install it because of many reasons, but I don't think that because it is an open source distribution, you can have all the code. I don't see anything to worry about, but they already included so that you will also be aware that this one also has some privacy, bearing in mind they have access to non-open source software on their application store. They have the music or application and movie and their screen capture, and of course since it is from Debian, it has also thousands of applications you can install from the App Store, not to mention some applications that they have which are non-free, which you can install, and we will install them later. Looking for the practical, there are some things that are very nice. The thing that I like is the Grand Search, which can search the settings and the other things that you have. It is very nicely done, and you will see that it is also user friendly, and the user interface is very, very nice for this one. Screen capture, they have their own screen capture. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. If you don't, you can install another open source like Flameshot or Ksnip or any others. The thing that got me also that a very positive review is that they included OCR. Of course, there's OCR programs in Linux, but they have their own, and they use it also for if you have some images in Chinese, they can transcribe it, or also in English, some images you can get it into a text. As for the productivity, we have they said there is Office, but when I checked, there is no Typora. You cannot install it. Of course, maybe this was old because Typora before was a demo version. Now you cannot install it. But of course, they have only Office. You can install only Office. Outlook you cannot install because also Wine is not installed in the Deepin 20.8. And of course, OneNote also is not installed in Deepin 20.8. So maybe they need to update this one. For the entertainment, of course, you can have access as per any Debian. You can have access of all these applications. For the design, the same thing. All of them are included. And of course, if you notice here for the Android Studio, they have an access. You can install it directly through the development, which is good. Visual Studio Code, always you can install it, there's no problem. And also they included this DTK IDE, which is Deepin Toolkit IDE, if you want to improve on the software, if you are a developer and you want to improve it further. These are the community news, and you will see these in Deepin Home. Any other things that are happening, you can directly have them in the Deepin Home, which you will see them in the software. That's it for the website. Let us try to install it on a virtual machine and see how it will perform. So we start creating now. We will call it Deepin 13, for example, the name of the virtual machine. The ISO image, I will call it, the ISO image I already downloaded on the downloads, so it will be I installed it from the downloads, and directly you click next. For the base memory, let us put 6 GB, is no problem, and let's do 2 processors, and we'll click next. Next, for the virtual hard disk, now you have 2 options. Either you go for more than 64 GB because they recommend more than 64 GB, and also they recommend also 128 GB free partition in order to install it. But the trick here, I want to install it on a 25 GB. If you want the recommendation, you can use it, but the recommendation is for extra backup, extra things, partitions, for more backup, so that you will not lose any data. But for all the all Linux distributions, 25 GB is more than enough, so I will allocate 25 GB for that. I will click next and we'll go finish. Let us start it. So now we are in the installation phase. So you have 2 choices. The default is Chinese, of course, or you can start with the English. So I will start with the English. There is some end user license agreement. If you click it, it will talk about the community, and it is a team founded by Union Tech, which is also, and its affiliate, which is in Wuhan, Deepin Technology. So Wuhan is also involved. This city is also involved in the development of Deepin OS. So if you read all of that, it gives you all the information about what you can do with the software, because this desktop is unique and you don't have any other like that. And that I have read and understand. Next. So here, because we are installing in a virtual machine, it is quite smart and tells us that it is in a virtual machine. It has suboptimal performance. Here the most important thing is the create partition. So here they have the default is full disk. You choose it, and you see here you need at least 64 GB disk space to install Deepin. To get better performance, 128, and this one you cannot click next. So what you'll have to do is you have to do it manual in order to install it. But if you are lazy enough, like many others, you can go and get a 64 GB or 128 GB and you come back again and install it. But since I'm using 25 GB, I will use this 25 GB. So let's go for advanced, and here we have the free space. As I click, and I click also here, and you start primary partition, start ext4, and the mount point. So first let us start with the /boot. It should have a /boot. The minimum size is 1.5 GB, which is too much. We need around 500, but they have this minimum we cannot change. Let me see if we can change it from here. Can we change it? I don't know if we can change it. I don't think we can change this one. So it will remain as 1.5 GB. So we've created the first one for the boot. The second one, so we have here around 23 GB. I press, and I press also here. We need for the swap, so the file system here, I will put swap partition, and here the minimum is 100 MB. Good. So the minimum is 100. So let me put 1000 or 1 gigabyte. I will create. And the last thing that we will need is, I'll press, and I'll press also here. The last one is the mount is the root, and the remaining is 23. I will say create. So this one to be formatted and install here. So we have finished all the partitions that are needed. Very simple way to partition. It is very simple. It cannot be simpler than that. Although they already included this full disk, I don't know why. So we are using 25 gigabyte for this partition. I click next. It tells me it is formatting this one, and this partition is ext4. There is the link swap, and there's another one for the mount point. It's finished. So we press continue, and we will let it install, and we'll come back when it's finished. And it's finished, and we still have to reboot, and we'll reboot now, and we'll come back also later. So we have rebooted. We are starting. Select language English. Okay, I press next. Select the language also English, so I press next also. The time zone, they have the time zone Beijing. If you want, you can check New York and click next. For the username, I'll put 13 minutes. I'll put a simple password. It is weak, but no problem, just for checking. Applying changes to your system, please wait. Okay, so we put my password, and I will enter directly to Deepin. So it has detected that you are using a virtual machine. Okay, no problem, which will affect the performance. Effect mode, have a delicate experience. Normal mode. So let me put also the effect mode. So we are now in Deepin desktop. It is very nice. Very nice wallpaper. And we have this welcome screen. So let us start with the customization here. Let me click next. There's two modes. There's the fashion mode and the efficient mode. Of course, this is the fashion mode, because if you know, you will not see any other panel like this. And this is the efficient mode. This is the fashion mode. Let me continue. The other thing for the running mode, also in the same thing here, you can go for normal or the effect mode. So let us continue with the effect mode. The things for the icon theme, the difference between this icon theme and the GTK themes and all the other themes that are involved in other distributions, they have their own themes, and that's why you need to choose between these four. So you can choose Bloom Classic, and is Bloom Dark. Let us continue with Bloom Dark, for example, and we'll click done. So that's basically it. So they have their own file manager, their own everything, their own app store. They did a very good job, but it is in the introductory phase. Let us see what we can have of it. For here, for the panel, if I right click, there is the mode, there's the fashion and efficient mode that they are involved in. So if I want, I can go for efficient mode. So this is the efficient mode. The other thing for the location, you can locate either top, bottom, left, right. It's very nice to have it. Also for the status, if keep shown or smart hide, of course, if you are running application and you don't need the panel, it will hide it directly. And the last one is the dock setting. So you will have all the information here. You know that they don't have enough plugins, and of course in future versions they will have more plugins so you can install, but these are the plugins that are involved here. You can remove them from the dock setting. If you right click here on the dock setting, you can remove them from here. Okay, so that's it for the panel. If you notice, this is for the show desktop. For the launcher is a very nice menu here, start menu, which has the categories, which have, you can have a search. It looks like the Windows 10 more or less, but the search is on top. You click, it will increase. Click down, it will be like this, depending on your taste. You can move it like this or with the arrows. Let me close it. So it's very nice to have it. It combines the one for Windows and also for the Mac, so you can choose which one you like. The other thing is we have the multitasking view. Of course, if you have a couple of applications, it's just like the Mac or also the Windows, they have this one also. The file manager, they have a unique file manager, but there is not much you can expect from it. There is no scripts, there's no macros, there's no other things that make it more advanced, but it is good looking. And of course you have all the information here, and this one is unique for all Windows. Why? Because you can change the theme from light to dark to system. If I press here the dark theme, this one will be a dark theme, and most of the Windows will be dark theme. Also you have the option of connecting to a server, which is very nice, and also another window. This one is also very handy to have. Let me close it. The other thing is the browser. I think it is Google here. I think it is Chrome. So this is browser version 6.0 browser. Its name is browser, and it is based on the Chromium open source project. So they have their own browser. They call it browser. Okay, great. The other thing is the App Store here. This is the App Store. So they have here hot applications. We have Audacity, OpenShot. You can install Chrome, although there is the browser, their old version, but there is Chrome. You can have also Firefox. Okay, so Telegram, there is the Mind Tools. You can have all these information editor tools. These are for the hot tools. There is also the must-haves. The must-have, they have Vivaldi, which is good that they included Vivaldi. There's also Discord. They have LibreOffice and OnlyOffice. It depends on you. Most would like OnlyOffice because it's more compatible for Microsoft Office documents. It's better to have OnlyOffice installed other than LibreOffice. The other things are very well typical. For the editing, of course, they have Shotcut and OpenShot. These are the ones that are very well. They don't have Kdenlive here. I don't know why. For programming, you have Sublime Text. As I told you, there is no Typora. There is only Sublime Text 4. And Sublime Text 4 is the unregistered version. So you install it. It is the unregistered version. So it's very nice. The other thing that I didn't find is because they talked about Windows applications. They talked about Outlook and the others. There is no Wine to install. But you can install Wine if you don't want to use the terminal. You can install, I already installed it. You can install Play on Linux, because if you install Play on Linux and it is installed, if I open Play on Linux, notice here we cannot use all of these because these will not install Wine for us. I think there's a different Wine they are concerned about. This is if you want to run any Wine application, or let's say Notepad++ or any other Windows desktop, you have to do it from Play on Linux. Okay, we have an icon here, and of course here if you want to install any program, it has an install menu here. The other thing that we talked about, this is the App Store. There is the album. They have an album or the picture viewer, the diary. There is the music. You have also the calendar, and also there is the control center. What is so nice about the control center, you can there's the accounts, the display. If you have an ID, if you want to share something with the cloud, they have a Deepin ID, but unfortunately this Deepin ID is only for mainland China. There's also the default applications. If you look at the personalization, you have the general, the icon theme. We talked about the icon theme. There's only these icon theme. We are waiting for more developers if you want to include some icon themes for this distribution, but for this matter we only have these. For the cursor also we have 3. For the fonts, you can choose whichever font that you want, or you can install the other fonts. There is no problem with that. And also we talked about the dock setting here that we have. The last thing that I will talk about is the search. This is the grand search. It's very, very nice. Let's say I want to go to the mouse setting. So I just press mouse and it will take me to the mouse settings so that whatever I want. Or let's say I want to go to the browser. They call it browser, so directly I can search it from here. So that's why it's a grand search. It can search through the settings, control panel settings. It can search for the applications. It can search for all the files that are in your system. It is very handy and very nicely done. It's very beautiful. The beauty of this desktop, we did not use the terminal. We installed Wine through the Play on Linux. We have the App Store for our applications. There's also here notifications that are available, which says Play on Linux installed successfully. I will close it. If you want to updates, you have the updates from the App Store. I did not check it, but you have it. If you want, you can view it and you can download. And these are the control center, and there's update for the control center also as well. This is for the notification. Let us go for the terminal and check some things. So if you notice, let us check the kernel. The kernel is 5.15, which is for Debian, it is the long-term release, which is also the default. So there's no problem with that. And if we notice on the memory, it is using around 1.45 gigabyte, which is not bad, bearing in mind this is a modern UI with very fancy settings, and the programs are also very nicely built. And if you notice also the rounded corners, which makes it a very elegant distribution. So that's it for this Deepin. I hope you enjoyed it, and the coming days and the coming weeks will have plenty of more distributions to discuss, and also some tweaks and some applications that you will find more interesting. Thank you all, and we'll be back in another video.